Hey everybody, and welcome back to Storytime with JRP. We're continuing to read our book, Laurence Grey's Secret of the Lost Roanoke Colony, and right now we're on Chapter 7. So if you're just joining us, make sure to go back to Chapter 1 so you don't miss any crucial details. So a recap of where we have left off so far. Historian Laurence Grey and his son Jason discovered a creepy government website, but before they had a chance to look into it, they were taken by the SWAT and thrown into an armored car. And remember, the website had something to do with the missing Roanoke Colony, so you wonder why the government is capturing them in relation to that. Well, we're just going to have to find out. And then remember also, Grey jumped out of the armored car, but Jason, his son, could not also. And so now they are separated. What will Grey do next? Let's find out right now in Chapter 7 titled Jack Larrabee. Grey continued to stare down the road where the armored car had been 10 minutes ago. He couldn't believe his son had been taken away with him. And now, Jason continued the unwilling participation trip on his own. Grey called a friend to come pick him up. The SWAT had a phone reception blocking satellite for the armored car, so Grey was allowed to keep his phone. It didn't matter, he couldn't call anyone. Now that the car was gone, Grey had reception again. His phone GPS told him that he was still in Connecticut, but on the outskirts of a minor city named Tubb. Grey told his friend how to find him, and then sat down to wait. Mr. Jack Larrabee, a journalist for the Hartford Times, who also happened to be a taxi driver, careened at 90 miles an hour towards Laurence Grey. He practically ran Grey over with his car. Jack was a shortish man, about 5'8", and slightly overweight. He was 47 years old, compared to Grey being 35. And Jack always wore a brown suit with a checkered red tie, which really didn't match. Jack left out of the taxi, and slapped Grey on the back and said, "Why, Larry, it's been 2 years since I've seen you. What in Pancake's name are you doing here in the middle of the desert?" Jack had always been outgoing. Laurence sighed, then said, "First of all, it's not Larry, it's Laurence. Secondly, it's a really long story, so I prefer not to talk about it." Grey and Larrabee both got in the taxi and started driving back towards the city of Tubb. After about an hour of driving, Grey was finally ready to talk about it. And after an hour of driving, Grey had finished his story. "And now the government has Jason, and I can't do anything about it without being caught myself." Jack thought for a moment and then said, "Wow, that's a toughie. Well, what I think you should do is first find out why the SWAT were after you. I mean, SWAT? Come on. They really should have sent your own precinct, much less the SWAT. I wonder what got them so mad." Laurence was at a loss. He also had no idea, but he was going to find out. Man, bit by bit, we are moving through this book, but it is still inch by inch, guys. You probably thought that, Jason was going to get saved really quickly, but nope, that's too soon, because right now we just saw Laurence team up with his friend Jack. So, is his friend Jack going to help him, or is he just going to be a hindrance? He doesn't seem to be the most intelligent guy. So, you're just going to have to find out next week in Chapter 8 as we continue this incredible book, guys. All right, I'll see you then.